You know that moment when the air in a room turns thick? Like everyone's holding their breath. Waiting for the pin to drop? That's how it started for me. In the glass-walled conference room of Harrington Logistics, high above the buzzing streets of Chicago. I was there, but not really, sitting off to the side. My notepad open, pen poised, as if I were just another fixture like the overpriced espresso machine in the corner. Alex Harrington, the CEO's golden boy, fresh out of Harvard with his trust fund smirk, waved me off like I was the help. Emily, grab us some coffee. Would you? Black. No sugar. His words hung there, casual as a handshake. But they sliced deep. Across the table, Mr. Kim from our key Korean supplier shifted in his seat, his face a mask of polite restraint, eyes flicking to me for just a second. That was the crack, the first hairline fracture in a deal worth millions. And Alex? He didn't even notice. He thought he was owning the room. But all he was doing was digging his own grave. One arrogant quip at a time. I'd been with Harrington for 8 years, grinding in the shadows of the supply chain department. Not the flashy sales gigs or the C-suite power plays, but the real backbone, negotiating with factories in Seoul, dodging tariffs out of Busan, and keeping our apparel lines from crumbling under delays. I spoke fluent Korean, Spanish, and enough Mandarin to navigate a customs dispute without breaking a sweat. My Rolodex, yeah, I still call it that, was packed with contacts who'd pick up my calls at midnight. Built on late-night dinners, shared soja toasts, and promises kept through typhoons and trade wars. Trust like that doesn't come from boardroom bluster, it's forged in the quiet hours. The ones no one sees. But Alex? He waltzed in 6 months ago. Daddy's heir apparent. With his disruptive ideas. We're going global centralized, he'd announced in our kickoff meeting. Flashing a PowerPoint like it was the 10 Commandments. One hub. One contract. One price point for all Asia-Pacific vendors. I raised my hand. Voice steady. What about our tiered pricing buffers? A strike in Incheon could tank us without backups. He chuckled, eyes glazing over. Legacy stuff's outdated. Emily, we'll streamline it. He didn't hear the warning bells. Didn't want to. To him, I was just the analyst who'd been there too long. The one who handled the details while he chased the glory. The betrayal stung. But it simmered slow. I didn't storm out or fire off an email rant. No. I buried it. Let it coil inside like a spring waiting to snap. When Alex scheduled the big call with Kim Textiles, our anchor supplier, the one holding 40% of our fabric pipeline, I wasn't even looped in. Found out from the CFO over a rushed lunch in the cafeteria. Thought you were point on Kim, she said. Fork pausing mid-bite. You've met Mr. Kim face to face, right? Shook hands in that Seoul factory tour. Yeah. I had. Remembered his words from our first audit back in 2017. Business isn't just paper, it's people honoring their word. That clause I drafted in our master agreement? The one buried in Section 8.2c? It was my insurance policy. Written after a near miss with a flaky competitor. Any negotiation by an unauthorized rep without prior notice voids the deal under New York arbitration law. I'd explained it to their team in Korean. Got it notarized. Initialed it myself. It was airtight. Designed to protect both sides from exactly this kind of hubris. Alex brushed me off when I suggested tagging along. I've got this. Don't crowd the call. Crowd it? The nerve burned. But I swallowed it. Showed up anyway. Slipped into the room quietly as the video feed connected. Mr. Kim appeared on screen. Composed in his minimalist office. A single bonsai on the shelf behind him. Alex dove in. Loud and over-enunciated. Like he was talking to a child. Mr. Kim. Thrilled to connect. Let's talk streamlining your contracts, big wins for everyone. I sat still, watching Mr. Kim's micro-expressions, the slight tighten of his jaw, the polite nod that screamed discomfort. Then Alex turned to me. That condescending grin. Coffee run. Remember? I stood, deliberate, chair scraping just enough to echo. But instead of leaving, I faced the camera and spoke in flawless Korean. Mr. Kim. It's Emily Hayes. I apologize for the confusion. His eyes softened, then sharpened. A pause, heavy as lead. Then, in crisp English, this negotiation is invalid. Review Clause 8.2c. Click. Screen went dark. Alex froze. Coffee request forgotten. His world tilting off axis. The fallout hit like a freight train derailing in slow motion. Alex stammered. What the hell? I sat back down. Voice even. That was your unauthorized play blowing up. Clause 8.2c. Termination immediate. His face drained of color as the emails started pouring in. Legal pinged first. Confirm signature on 2017 addendum. Then up Slack exploded. Kim pulled out? All contracts. By afternoon. It was clear. 38% of our APAC pipeline vanished. Clawbacks. Penalties. Reroutes, $11 million in the red. Easy. The war room convened. Lawyers scrambling over printouts, highlighting my clause like it was Exhibit A in a murder trial. Alex paced. Blustering, ambiguity in the language, outdated. But Rachel from legal shut him down cold. No ambiguity. It's binding. Notarized. And Emily's the authorized rep. She turned to me. You drafted this for breaches like this. I nodded. Insurance against recklessness. Alex's eyes bored into me. You could have warned me louder. I did, I said quietly. You called it crowding. The room went silent. The betrayal hanging there. Unspoken but screaming. As the days dragged, the damage metastasized. Projections showed logistics costs spiking 130%. Fulfillment delays tripling. Margins evaporating. Retail partners paused orders. One big box chain invoked breach clauses. Word spread through trade forums. Kim Textiles issued a quiet bulletin. Harrington engaged in non-compliant negotiation. Doors slammed shut in Guangdong. Incheon. Hanoi. Alex scrambled. Cold calling dusty contacts. His charm cracking under the strain. Meanwhile, vendors messaged me directly. Emily. You still at Harrington? Heard about the mess. I didn't reply. But the silence spoke volumes. The psychological toll gnawed at everyone's sleepless nights. Whispered blame in hallways. For me, it was vindication wrapped in ache. I'd built this machine. Piece by piece. Only to watch it dismantled by entitlement. But holding my tongue, letting the claws do the work, that was my quiet revenge. Born from years of being overlooked, undervalued. By week 2, the task force was a joke. Whiteboards crammed with jargon like supply pivot and vendor realignment, but no real fix. The clause's lockout, 180 days no re-engagement, sealed it. I ignored invites. Let them stew. Then came the email from Apex Global. A powerhouse in Zurich. Heard about Harrington. Open to VP role in strategic sourcing? They knew my work. My clause. The call was brief. You wrote 8.2c? Yes. Want to lead your own team? Yes. Offer signed. Relocation to Zurich with a Singapore outpost. No fanfare. Just escape. When Alex called. Voice trembling. Emily. Misunderstanding. Let's fix this. I forwarded to my lawyer. All comms through counsel. Click. The price of his betrayal? His empire in ruins. Mine? A new start. But scarred by the silence I'd wielded like a blade. The board meeting sealed it all. CEO Richard Harrington, Alex's dad sat rigid, skyline mocking the chaos below. Slides ticked off the carnage, 16 contracts gone. $22 million hit. Attribution to unauthorized delegate, Alex Harrington. The chairman's voice cut sharp. You let your son lead without the key player? Richard mumbled excuses. The COO added, Emily wrote the clause that protected us until it didn't. Silence descended, heavy with regret. No defense for Alex. Dialing in from some dim apartment. His world shrunk. They knew now, dismissing quiet expertise costs everything. At Apex. My name appeared on the leadership page. Understated. Harrington's job postings begged for fluency in Asian etiquette preferred. Irony stung. But I didn't linger. Months later, at a logistics conference in Boston, I spotted Alex at a booth, badge reading some no-name consultancy. He fumbled a greeting, annyeonghaseyo. Coffee spilled. I met his eyes, hello, walked on. No more silence needed, the crash had spoken for itself.